let that light of joy shine in your life all the time. Oh, let that light of joy, let that light of joy, let that light of joy shine in your life.
Well, this is the 6th Sunday of the Lenten season. And if you join me at the beginning of Lent by fasting on giving any of our life energy to negative thought, you've been on a very interesting journey. Because these 6 weeks have revealed that that negative thought comes in all sizes and shapes. And as I give less attention to it, I've been more easy to forgive myself. More easy to accept that even though I'm a spiritual giant, I'm subjected to the most amazing criticism and judgment and feelings of anger and shame. I mean, I guess I'm just human. If that's your experience too, welcome to the human family. And this is Palm Sunday. My talk title is Living in Victory, because we have the power to live in victory. Now, Palm Sunday is one of the few stories in the Bible that's actually in all 4 Gospels. One might say that's a coincidence, or we might say this means it might be important. So, if we look back at the history, what we know is this day was an amazing day of excitement. A day filled with wonder and curiosity. And there was great jubilation in anticipation of the King of Kings arriving. Now, most people hadn't even seen Jesus before, but the rumors were around. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Now, in a lot of people's hearts was finally, we have been oppressed and suppressed for so long, the King must come and save us, brandishing the sword to vanquish all oppressors and enemies. The story's a little different than that. Because as the young men were scampering up the palm trees to get a better view, is he coming yet? Is he coming yet? Now, living in Hawaii for 20 years, it's amazing how fast a guy can go right up a palm tree to get to the coconuts. It's phenomenal. Not something I can do. But these, if you can imagine, they're up there in the palms looking to see, is he here yet? Is he here yet? Great excitement. And Jesus comes in on a donkey with no expectation of worship me, no expectation of follow me. The message is clear that humbly we can come toward, and therein lies our victory. I turn to the wisdom of one of our great thinkers. Yes, a mathematician. Yes, a scientist. But foremost, a powerful philosopher. He says this: the most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or a hostile universe. Interesting. That gives me a lot of power, doesn't it? So let's take a couple of examples. Let's imagine 2 separate people each of them with the same walk of life, similar life experiences, and they both lose their job. Now, one of them might go home sad, depressed, and just not know what to do. Kind of a hostile universe. The other one sees it as an opportunity to finally go for what they've been dreaming of and lands a job beyond their wildest dreams. A friendly universe. Let's take two more people, very similar in their style and their makeup and their doing life, and each of them is diagnosed with terminal cancer. Now, one of them might fall into a pit of melancholy and sadness and pull away from all other people. The other might step into life fully, embracing what is and experiencing that journey, inspiring many people. A hostile universe or a friendly universe, no matter what's happening. I asked you to look at this picture. Now, some may look at this picture and say, oh, Madame Pele, the goddess of fire, destroyer of black sand beaches and whole towns and villages and vacation homes. Another might look at it and say, the earth has such amazing beauty. There's no one can match the artistry of the beauty of the earth. Now, Madame Pele has been expressing herself since 1983 with constant lava flow. The Big Island is big, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. A powerful goddess creating new vacation land. Friendly universe or hostile universe? The truth is, we get to decide. We get to embrace whatever happens in our life and choose how are we going to proceed. I have the power to choose. Let's say this together. I have the power to choose. That feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. Wayne Dyer, great guy, has written many books and inspired many telethons. He says here, with great wisdom, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. There's great wisdom in this, because our thought process and what we choose creates what we're going to experience. That's this friendly or hostile universe. Now, Owen and I have a grandniece who was born with cystic fibrosis. It's a debilitating disease with a life of physical therapy and in and out of hospitals. By the time she was 19 years old, she had 17% of her lung use. She was dying. And so they moved to Raleigh-Durham to be at Duke University, a major transplant center, waiting for a transplant for a double lung transplant. Now, in my mind, in all of my loving prayer consciousness, I could not imagine a double lung transplant. I couldn't even see it as a possibility. So Owen and I went down to see Nicole, and she had met a young fellow who had just received a double lung transplant just 2 weeks prior. And he was physically fit, full of energy, driving, living life to the fullest. And all of a sudden, I could see a different way. I could see the possibility of Nicole living life fully and no longer having lungs that had cystic fibrosis. And she did have a double lung transplant, and now she's just entering graduate school to be a therapist. And I was so moved when she said, Uncle Gary, has it always been this easy for you to breathe? Because her new lungs don't have cystic fibrosis. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Khalil Gibran is a gifted writer of prose and philosophy, says a very powerful statement. Pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. I love this. And what it reminds me is that when I'm feeling loving, when I'm in bliss and joy, I don't want anything to change. And things don't until a little pain comes along, a little challenge comes along, a little cosmic 2x4 comes along. We know what those are. Well, it's those experiences that shake up our life enough that we're willing to say, okay. And breaking through that shell is like opening a door to a whole new understanding, a whole new way of being. Like get a double lung transplant and then I can live my life fully. We can awaken to a new way of being. This is the essence behind the Palm Sunday story. Is we can humbly move through our pain and choose whether we live in a friendly universe or a hostile universe. And we know the outcome based on that decision. We always are going to get exactly what we focus on until we focus on a friendly universe. And why is it friendly? What makes it friendly? We know the reason. It's because God. I love the clouds. And looking over the clouds and seeing a heart in the clouds is a testament to the wonder of the moment. And the moment that we stop, no matter what the pain that we're feeling, and center in, we're given everything we need to deal with what is before us. We may not know what the outcome's going to be, but we're given everything we need in each moment. The compassionate Buddha says, all that we are is a result of what we have thought. So right now, where each of us are, is experiencing all the thought we've ever had has brought us to right here. It doesn't matter what all that thought was. We're here. And if there's anything in our life that doesn't feel in alignment, doesn't feel quite right, give us a little niggle and nudge, it is the pathway to breaking through a shell to a whole new understanding. And I'm going to bring this talk to a close by focusing on the wisdom of Martha Smock. I continually go to her because I find her so easy to relate to. So Martha says, rather than straining and striving for results in the outer, set the inner self right. Release fears and tensions and let go, and let God's Spirit carry you forward into life, freedom, and peace. This is the very essence of this teaching. For a moment, let's set down trying to fix anything outside of us. And let's turn within and set the inner self right. And by letting go of that negative thinking, forgiving, accepting, loving, embracing, then it is going to be God that carries us through the doorway. All we need do is embrace the decision that we live in a friendly universe. That God's presence is there to give us exactly what we need. And that, on the other side of that doorway, is our life, is our freedom, is our peace. And that's just for today. It's just for right now. Because that's all we're ever going to get is right now. Let's take this spirit, this message, into our understanding by going into some time in the silence. The light is always present. All we need do is allow it to shine through us. Let's take that into meditation. Yes. Yes, sweet Spirit. We come into this moment willing, available, ready. And we breathe in deeply and allow our shoulders to drop. We breathe in deeply and we move from our head to our heart, breathing easily into our heart space. The master teacher, Jesus, said, "My way is easy and my burden is light." Let's allow the light to shine. For if the way is easy, all we need do is to allow it to shine. There's nothing we need to carry. There's no lack in God. So this Palm Sunday, as we open ourselves to evaluate what kind of a universe do I want to live in? Each of us has the power to choose. I choose light. I choose love. I choose peace. I choose safety. I choose wholeness. Let's turn within to our center and spend some time communing with the light of love as we enter this time in the silence. We are eternally grateful for our ever-increasing awareness of our oneness with you, God. It's from this place, right here, right now, that we begin. Now we begin. Now we open ourselves to new understanding, to remembering the truth of who we are, and know that we're given everything we need to do whatever it is for us to do. As you breathe easy, you might wiggle your fingers and your toes. You might roll your head. And as you open your eyes and come into this presence, we'll say this affirmation together. God in me is infinite wisdom. I know just what to do. And so it is, and so we let it be.